Welcome back to Maintenance Made on a Budget. Today we're going to be taking out this tile and replacing it with a new one. And the reason why is there's some lipage. So I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but you can see here there's like a slight lipage on this tile. And it's probably more predominant. On this one, we've marked them. So it's probably hard to pick up on the camera, the thing here, but there's actually a very strong lipage there. So what that is, when the two tiles, when we laid in the tile, we were starting to get in a hurry. And so, some of them didn't come out. And the reason this happened, we tried to use the lipage. They're like little clamps. They really didn't work well for me. I'm sure if you're more into a professional job, type settings, they know how to use them more realistically. But if you scroll down through my channel, I did a video on laying this tile. And I started off this section with using those, they're like little spacers, but they would clamp on each corner. But what ended up happening was, each different day that we made the mix, the cement came out and it was thicker or not as thick, and we were still trying to get our routine for the troweling. Needless to say, we had a couple tiles that need to be reset. Maybe if I come this way. So anyway, we're gonna show you how to do it. You can see right there, that lipage there. So what I'm gonna do, tools that you're gonna need for this, if you want relatively cheap tools, go with these chisels that have the handles on them, either the skinny version or the big version, and obviously a hammer. Or you can buy a hand tool, something similar to this. I bought this at Harbor Freight a few years ago for, I believe it was less than $60, probably around 40 bucks, but it works great. And then you buy this little attachment here, and this is an oscillating saw. It's an oscillating handheld saw. So if you're going to go to the department, any kind of store, that's what they're called. And then you just have to find the right attachment. This is a cutting blade for tile specifically. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to go along the edge very carefully and start digging up all that inlay, all that grout along the side. Once I get that nice and cut away from the surrounding tiles, depending on how I'm going to do it, most likely I'll get my big flat chisel here, and I'll start in the center and start hammering down to split this tile in half. That way I can come in and scrape underneath and it'll pop out clean. I don't want to start hammering this way and trying to go in that way, because I can cause damage on this tile. Now, if you're only stuck with these, it's no problem. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go around the grout mark first and hammer along, starting to knock out. You just got to be real careful that you don't chip away at the other tile. So that type of job, if you're going to do it this way or with a handheld, it just requires a lot of finesse. But don't be scared of it. Just do it. If you did a tile job yourself and it didn't come out right and you don't want to deal with the contractor anymore, if you're willing, and of course you have to have the spare tiles to match, okay? And then the grout, and I still have the grout color to match. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so I've cut around the sides. Now I'm going to get my chisel, and I'm just going to pick the center here and try to split it somewhere along the middle. Like that. be patient till you can get it. Okay, so now kept hammering until I got practically to the bottom, and now I can come in and kind of pop it up like that, you know, and the tile comes up. Then you can come in at this side and slightly tap it. And if it comes up in pieces, that's fine. As long as it's not hitting the next tile, we're good. There it is. Okay. Now it's just a matter of cleaning all this up. And so what you'll do is you'll just come in here and knock all the old cement mortar out and get it back to the floor. And then you just clean up all the edges. And what's very important is when you're doing the edges here, all the corners, you want to make sure you go down flat and smooth and clean so that the next brand new tile will fit in there nice. So you'll have to come like this and you just work it all the way around, make sure every corner is nice and clean, right? And that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I tried to clean out the best I can. I have these old tabs in here that I was talking about earlier, so I had to cut those. They're like a little tab, and then it had a what is it, like a clip that was supposed to keep these tiles even. And I think it's just the fact that we had to figure out how to use them more better. But anyway, when you take them off, I had to cut those out. So now I'm going to go with a new tile. Now it's important to know what the grain direction is if you have a plank tile like this, or if you have a pattern tile. One of the ways you can tell too, on the back they have an arrow. When I laid these tiles, all the arrows went in that direction. But when you put it in, whatever you have, just make it match the best that you can. So you want to dry fit it. Okay, now I can see how this corner is too low. There's a big gap. It's too low here and it's too high here. So what I need to do now is knock some more of that corner and get it more square. And I'm either going to do that by cutting more here and chipping away more down here at the bottom. And the reason I'm having this issue is because I have another clip. The bottom of it's down here. So anyways, I'm going to get that straight, and then this will be able to fit in flat, and then we'll be ready for the actual cement. Okay, so I ended up doing the next tile because we noticed it had some bad lipage on that one there. So now you can slide in your new ones. And it's a nice dry fit. Now, you'll notice you probably won't get the exact same gap on this one. But once I put in cement, I'm going to put a spacer in here and it'll squeeze it a little closer. So it'll work. It's just hard to, because it's sitting on the floor and but anyway, it's going to fit in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my cement mix. Okay, so now I have my thin set mortar mix, and I apologize for calling it cement. Mortar. And ready to go. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm just going to lay out the mortar, and then I'll trowel it, and then I'll just set in the tiles. These were the clips I was talking about. So the way they were going in was you would slide that in underneath, lay the tile on top, and then you'd clamp it through. I did not like those. I'm sure, professionals who do huge square feet of tiling, probably that would come in handy, but it just doesn't seem to, if you don't, you've got to have a consistent lay of mortar down, and when you clamp them and squeeze them in like that, I don't know, it just didn't seem like it was really holding it down. And maybe they're just more for preventing for the tiles to set up right. I don't know. But that was part of the problem. Once I got my rhythm down, I just stopped using them. And I just compensated for the gap. You know, I would refill a little bit more mortar to do the rest of the floor. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do now. And like I said, I'm just going to, you know, glop down the mortar all along through there. And just make sure you have your sponge and water ready. And that, you know, in case any run out over the sides. But what I'm going to do is just like any other normal mortar job, I'm going to get it in, spread it all out, and then I'll take my 1/4 inch trowel marks here and then just spread it out like that, get the trowel marks, and then I'll press my tile in, and then I am going to use some of my leftover, but I'm not going to set them down. I'm just going to kind of, actually I have spacers. I'll just use my spacers. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so I laid in the first tile, and all I'm going to do, I put it in a little thick because what I'm going to do is just press down and make it so it's even this way and even this way. And I'm just going to simply do that by my hands. Over here, it's already kind of flush. So over here, I'm just going to push down and get all my corners nice and flush all the way around. And then I'll put the next tile in the same way, and I'm going to put a little spacer between each tile. And if you have a leveler handy, but you know, use that. All right, so it's in there. I got the spacers. We're going to let that dry. So you're just going to have to make it work the best you can. The key thing is that it's now even and flush with the other tiles, and that was the issue with the lipage. It's even here, flush, and even there. Everything is nice and clean. So we're going to let this dry, and we'll start with the grout tomorrow. All right, then you start the grout. Just grout it all in. And finish all the way around. Then you wipe it clean. And then you just wipe it nice and evenly. One stroke. So you can pick it all up. And there you go. That's how you can replace a tile and not damage any of the other ones. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'll be more than happy to keep these type of videos coming. Leave any comments down below, and we'll see you next time.